Hi everyone. Before I go off to sleep, because it's actually really late. It's actually 1 actually. Yeah, and then as you can tell, I have the moisturizer on my face and everything. So it's not a good idea to just stay up and then like you're not going to work if you don't do anything like that in your sleep. Your body's going to be really tired as well. So tomorrow I'm actually trying to take a break. Means there's no work and whatever. I have to go to work on Saturday. So on Sundays. But I just want to talk a little bit more about this one thing after the all the different things that I've been thinking about over the last week. Okay, over the weekend. After that experience that was very triggering with religious trauma and spiritual abuse and even like talking to the counselor or not counselor, the psychologist about my own sense of anxiety and things over some things like my job situation, and then also thinking about narcissistic abuse history, things like that. I came at one particular realization. Okay, so for those who I mean, if they put up with it, just put up with this thing. um, the thing that I'm going to talk about is this: guard your heart. Okay, guard your heart. uh, there's this one thing. How do we must guard our hearts, not the physical heart but the heart that's in the emotional center of our being, because it's the way to actually recover after narcissistic abuse and after narcissistic discard, and even before we even get into any kind of relationship or situationship with a narcissist. Guarding our heart protects us. Okay, so there's this one verse in the Bible. It talks very very clearly. Back then I remember that when I was working in Japan. That one thing is this. I don't know if I've told anyone this, but actually when I left for Japan, I was very hurt. It wasn't really linked to my family at all. It was a more personal thing that had to do with my sense of being in this country of my birth. Okay, I felt that my youth, my childhood wasn't happy because I was very much suffering from that sense of rejection. The fact the feel that you never really belong, and then you have all these things like the political culture of the country, everything. And when I left to work in Japan, what's this kind of thing where I felt like I got to leave. Okay, leave and find a place to call my home and get there. Then after that, maybe just forget about this country. And at the point in time when I was working during the first few months of my time there, during the first year. Okay, I was there for 2.5 years. But one thing was this: during the first few months, I remember one of the weeks when I asked myself about this thing about the heart, because that I say, oh, how do you heal a broken heart or broken spirit that has been hurt by the things that you've been through in life. Okay, and I actually did a Bible search. I know that was the so-called evangelical self, the whole idea that the Bible says everything, so I should try to just find those verses. And then I came out, I did a search. There was a long list of Bible verses, but the one thing that I actually struck my mind was the thing that I always remember reading or coming across in the Psalms of King David. Guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Okay, so and we know that even the book of James talks about that. They're saying that for the tongue, the words of the heart, for good, to bring life to other people, and also to bring death and destruction to sin. Okay, so what comes out of the mouth is linked to what actually the heart is feeling. Okay, heart feels and desires. So as I'm not just talking at a perspective of a religious point of view. I'm actually, because I'm making this for the point of benefit of those who not just follow, they're not just following me on my channel, but also those who don't really have any Christian background or who are not Christians. Regardless of whether you believe in the Bible or not, okay, whether you're a Christian or not, okay, the truth stands down here. Okay, basically, our heart, this is the emotional or center or emotional core of our being, or even the spiritual core. And when our heart is being protected, okay, when we know our boundaries, you know, or even how much we can tolerate or withstand, we can say no to things like abuse or manipulation. And not just that, even after it has happened, when we, you know, in that situation where we say it's too late, in the sense that we are in that relationship, and even if we just get out of it, you know, the thing is, when we learn how to guard our heart after that thing has happened, the undesirable so-called grand finale of discard, when we learn how to guard it and protect ourselves, we will not be susceptible to any more manipulation after that. I'm not creating a very, like, you know, wonderful scenario where, you know, it's like, oh, once you do this, you never be prey again. I mean, to be realistic, we will still be in a situation where we could possibly be tempted by these people, and sometimes they put certain things in front of us. It's called dangling the carrot, okay? And you know, in our weakest moments, we always don't know better, okay? And you know, the strange thing is this. Okay, talking about guarding the heart is very important, because I was talking a little bit online just now. Not really talking, just a comment. It's quite ridiculous. Sometimes you have all these pundits. They just want to make an effect, and they engage in ad hominem attacks. And there was this, you know, piece of news about the Southern Baptist Convention, how it is, you know, going into apostasy. Okay, down here, you know, actually in Asia, there's no SBC churches basically. Basically, when we think of things like that, like churches are basically Baptist, or nominally Baptist. Okay, so for example, even things like, you know, like certain congregations here, like, you know, faith community Baptist. I mean, it's nominally Baptist on the account of the fact that it practices water immersion and everything, and it has some Baptist beliefs, or that was where it came up from. But thinking that aside, you know, there are many other things like the, you know, doctrinal beliefs and everything. So, and you know that, okay, but to go back to what I was saying, I said something in relation to the post on Christianity Today, saying, you know, that about, wow, that denomination is going into apostasy. Okay, Lord have mercy. I really meant it. Lord have mercy, considering that you know, over 500 cases of sexual abuse were being covered up. Okay, so you know, in all this, I mean, I didn't mean to flame any denomination. I just meant it's just the way it is. Okay, why are people hiding it? And by hiding it, you know that actually we are not guarding the hearts of those who have been through the abuse. They have to be the ones doing it for themselves. You know how cruel it is, but this is the one thing, unfortunately, that we have to do as people who are suffering from, you know, the PTSD, the trauma of being abused. And it's funny when you have that thing, all of a sudden one person was like, I don't know his real intention, by the name of Carl Mueller, MUEL. I think he hasn't, like, he probably has kind of like switched me off or blocked me, so my comment won't get through to him. But it's still being shown on Facebook in that group chat. So some other people were very sympathetic to what I was saying, because they said, one of them, she just said, she said, you know what, the apostasy is going on in the SBC, Southern Baptist Convention, okay, and it is still continuing. She said, and it's still continuing. So I guess I'm not the only one who's thinking that, and I'm actually for it, not for it, but I'm just saying that the thing is this: where did our sense of justice come about? Okay, where do we protect people who are suffering from that? We didn't. Okay, and yeah, then the guy was actually, I don't know if he's trolling or whatever. I don't think he's trolling. It's just like he's trying to be so overly defensive to the point of like blanking out. Then he said, oh yeah, I just did a search on Kevin Zhang. That's me. Okay, his Facebook. Wait, it's on private. Why do you have access to it? And then I see that those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So he was implying that my being an Orthodox Christian, that I shouldn't be accusing other denominations. No, I'm not accusing any denomination, but I'm just stating the fact that the SBC is in apostasy. Okay, because, and not just because of this sexual abuse scandals of over 500 people. Okay, it's one too many either way. Okay, regardless of the number or percentage it is. They say it's 1%. When it's like over 49,000 churches throughout the whole USA. But so what? Okay, And then he gave a long article from this thing about the research written by someone, a religious studies scholar, specializing in Islamic theology, about the abuses in the Orthodox Church, in the Russian Orthodox Church of all places, predominantly, which basically I'm not in communion with, because I'm not Russian Orthodox, and I'm also because of the schism in Ukraine. Okay, it's just ridiculous. Sometimes people do that kind of stuff, but it's just they can't take criticism, and they start reacting. They take it very personally. But back to the whole thing about, you know, guarding the heart. The heart is so important. It's a very treacherous device, and not about ourselves as empaths, but other people as well. So we need to be very careful. Okay, so what do we do with guard hearts? The one thing is, actually, I have said in an earlier video, don't binge on any more of all these narcissistic abuse channels, all this abuse on abuse channels. Don't binge. Be extremely selective. And how are you gonna be selective? Choose the ones who are really going to, you know, whose energy is actually positive, okay, and that can actually bring you to the point where you are healing and recovering, instead of blaming people. Okay, you're not gonna associate with this kind of people, because if you associate with someone who keeps on blaming certain things, like, or blame the male sex, blame the female sex, blame this group, blame that group, the blame will lead you somewhere. Okay, but it's down a rabbit hole. This rabbit hole never ends. You know, it's like Alice in Wonderland. He just drops further down and down and down until the goodness knows when she's gonna land. She does land eventually, but when she lands, it was like a boom. Okay, and she can't even get to Wonderland yet. She has to go through so many doors. It's really a really big rabbit hole, and it never ends. Okay, so yeah, and the thing is this, I think all of us, there's one thing that we want, okay, as victims of abuse. I mean, I don't know about other people. I don't really know, but for myself, I know one thing. I want to recover. I wanted to, and I'm still recovering. I want to be better in the way I handle things like triggers. Now I think I'm actually doing much better, way better. But still, you know, as my psychologist told me herself, she said, sometimes, Kevin, you realize that, she said, the thing goes in, someone says this thing, and then you let it affect you. You don't just like you know, you don't even block it. Okay. Because you think it's like, oh, in and then what, out. But the thing is, it's stuck there in the head. You start processing it, just like what happened last week. And obviously people were worried. Okay, not just people I know, but people who barely knew me, wondering, is there anything wrong by the way you reacted? Are you in a state of distress or whatever? Yes, I was in a state of distress, but it wasn't so life-threatening in a sense. But it did really feel like, oh, the state of my soul is it's at stake. Oh yeah, am I going to go to hell? Then I realized that, you know what, if you're basing on other people and what they think of you, it's not the right thing. Okay, and then and then the whole thing is this. Ultimately, everything boils down to this thing: what we consume. We have to be very careful. Okay, so that's also why I have not been like making videos as regularly, or things about you know, narcissistic abuse. I don't want to feed people with this whole bad vibes and everything. It's like, why? I mean, I know some people keep on making videos every day. Is fine. I mean, it's fine to make videos every day, but the problem is this: when your videos are always constantly attacking someone, accusing someone, pointing their finger at someone, anything at someone else but yourself. It's like, you know, they say every finger that points back points at someone, 4 other fingers or 3 other fingers are pointing back at you. You know how ridiculous it gets, that ultimately you're just saying that you're very toxic. Okay, and this is the problem with all of us empaths. When we don't recover, we don't start focusing on ourselves, we end up we're just so angry, you know, and we are angry. We kind of like, you know, our hearts, yeah, our heart is bleeding, but we don't take out the so-called stick in the heart, or the little piece that's causing us to bleed. We keep on, oh, why do you do it? What are they doing? We blame other people. We don't focus on curing the wound within, or healing the wound. Okay, it's not the way to go. Okay, I hate to say it, but you know, some women, okay, some female content creators, I'm not gonna name them, they know who they are. They keep on rattling on some stupid agenda like radical feminism is a new anti-narcissism. No. You are gaslighting men who have been actually abused. Okay, and sometimes you're even gaslighting women as well, who are actually being abused, because you claim that what do you say? You claim that women cannot abuse women, or you claim I don't know what, or there's some other theories, okay, and it reflects back on them, okay, not on the people who are like, seeking them for help, okay. Anyway, yeah. So you know what? I would rather that as a person. That one thing that you want to do, okay. There's nothing wrong with like what I'm saying. I pray to God, okay. You can see the icon, Christ the Good Shepherd, okay. God takes care of us, okay. Jesus is God, okay. That's my belief. I don't really care people say I'm unruly, okay. I'm happy where I am right now as a Christian, okay. I mean, denominationally, maybe this needs a little bit of sorting out, but that said, there's so many other things like I pray. I need to improve on things like my reading the Bible, because this is one thing I have not been very as active as I should. But I'm talking about the thing about how to heal the heart. There are many ways. Your modality of spirituality is one thing. For those who are religious or spiritual, you should be seeking out that modality of your spiritual tradition or faith, learning a little bit more about it, exploring it. Whether or not whatever happens out of it, I can't say, because some people do end up leaving their tradition. I know that some of them feel that, maybe my tradition is endorsing the abuse. I can't stay on it anymore. There's no judgment, okay. But at least one thing, seek God, okay, and that's one way of healing the heart. But other than praying to God and seeking God, there's many other things that I think we need to do. The second thing, the first thing I was telling about, stopping all this binging, and the next thing is to actually switch our focus. We need to switch our focus. What your heart desires, you get it, and that's the way it is in life. I hate to say it, but so if your heart desires all this time to blame someone else, you definitely get it. The person's what you claim the person to be evil or to be guilty of, you keep on experiencing it, okay. So instead of doing that, why don't you focus on things like the good things you really want in your life. I mean, like what, for example, you say, I want a job, I want to do this, I want to have this, or maybe some people is very superficial, I want to look better, I want to be in better shape, better health conditions. I mean, it could be just vanity, whatever, but I mean, it's better than not even focusing on your own, like leveling up, okay. And leveling up is very, very important, because especially when you're going through trauma, there's always this moment called post-traumatic growth. And post-traumatic growth is when you actually level up, okay. It's not always necessarily material or physical. It can be in terms of emotional too. I'm very happy to say this. I think that I'm still suffering from anxiety. I'm not denying it, but at least I know now for myself. I do actually think that I'm doing much better than I used to years ago. At least I would say more like 8 or 9 years ago, when I first met the narcissist, those groomers and the abusers in my life. I'm way better, okay. And I hope I can just continue to move on and to do better in life and grow as a person, okay. So, and of course that includes things like holidaying, going to places which I haven't been to before, which means that I need to start planning, okay. Oh dear. Yeah, book a ticket, if I haven't booked a hotel or the hostel, okay. And the fan is in the background, so sorry about that if you hear all this, but anyway, I have to go now. So have a good one, everyone. And so you know what, I'll still keep this message simple. Guard your heart, okay. Guarding your heart is the best way to prevent yourself from getting into a narcissistic situation or manipulation, okay. And also, guarding your heart is also one such thing you want to do right after you're out of a narcissistic relationship, okay. So yeah, don't always lay your heart bare in front of everyone. You will know somehow, okay. And but of course, I'm not saying totally just calm people, don't do that, okay. That but just be circumspect and be careful and keep on reading people, okay. Anyway, I'm off now, okay. I'm very tired, okay. Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.